All right, today we're jumping into Scott Allan's Do the Hard Things First. Now let's be honest, this is a battle plan for an enemy we all know, intimately. I'm talking about procrastination. The goal here isn't just to, manage it. It's about turning that endless cycle of putting things off into a real, powerful habit of taking action. So, does this question just hit a little too close to home? The book nails this feeling right away, that sense of being totally swamped. It's that constant nagging anxiety from all the things you haven't finished, the guilt over the tasks you keep pushing to tomorrow, and just that overwhelming feeling of knowing you should be doing something, but you just can't bring yourself to start. If you've ever felt that, you know it's so much more than just being a little lazy. So what is actually going on inside our heads when we procrastinate? Well, it's basically a civil war between two versions of you. You've got your present self, who is all about instant gratification. It wants the easy, comfy reward right now, like scrolling on your phone instead of tackling that big project. But then there's your future self. That's the part of you with the big dreams, the one who actually wants to achieve those long-term goals. Procrastination is what happens when your present self wins that fight, over and over again.
Now this right here is a massive mindset shift. We're all taught to think that procrastination is just about being lazy. But this quote from Dennis Waitley turns that completely on its head. It suggests we're not actually avoiding the hard work. We're avoiding the success that comes after it, the responsibility, the change, the new expectations. It totally reframes the problem, which leads to a pretty big question.
Think about that for a second. If laziness isn't what's really holding you back, then what is? What's the real villain in this story?
That's it, plain and simple. The real reason we put off the important, meaningful, hard stuff is fear. It's this deep, primal instinct that's supposed to protect us, but in our modern world, it's just getting in the way of our own growth.
And we're not talking about some vague, spooky fear. The book gets super specific. It breaks it all down into 5 core fears that keep us stuck. There's the fear of commitment, the fear of the unknown, the fear of discomfort, just feeling awkward or challenged. Then there's the fear of making the wrong decision, and a huge one for so many of us, the fear of criticism. We will literally sabotage our own goals just to avoid feeling any of these things.
So to make this less abstract, the author shares a personal story. And it starts with something so normal, so relatable, a $600 bill for a brand new credit card. Seems easy enough to take care of, right?
But then it happens. The classic line. He had the money, he was ready to pay it, but it meant a trip across town, which was a hassle. So he told himself that little tiny lie we all know so well. I'll do it later. In his case, I'll do it Friday. And just like that, the seed was planted.
And of course, that one small decision to wait started a chain reaction. Reminder letters came in, he ignored them. He made more excuses. And the final consequence wasn't just some little late fee. After months of putting it off, the company just canceled his account, and he lost his credit clearance completely. A massive long-term consequence for avoiding one tiny short-term inconvenience.
And this is how the author himself sums it up. It wasn't just a mistake or an accident. It was, in his words, deliberate self-sabotage. And that's the thing about procrastination. It feels passive, but it's not. It's an active choice to hurt our future self just to give our present self a little bit of comfort.
Okay, that story makes the stakes pretty clear, right? We get the problem, we know the real cause is fear, and we see that the consequences are very real. So the big question now is, what do we do about it? How do we actually fight back? Well, the good news is there's a simple, practical 3-step battle plan.
And here it is. It's brilliant. Step 1, take ownership. This is huge. It means forgiving yourself for all the past procrastination. That guilt you carry around doesn't actually help you. It just makes you want to avoid things even more. So you draw a line in the sand. Step 2, the famous 5-minute rule. This is genius. Don't even think about finishing the giant terrifying task. Just commit to doing it for 5 minutes. The magic is that starting is always the hardest part. Once you get going, momentum usually kicks in. And finally, step 3, close your open loops. All those little unfinished tasks, answering an email, making a phone call, they're like apps running in the background of your brain, draining your mental energy. By knocking them out, you clear up that mental clutter and reduce the anxiety that makes the big tasks feel so impossible.
This whole strategy, this whole system, it's all built on one simple philosophy. Pay now and play later. It's the complete opposite of how a procrastinator thinks. Instead of grabbing that easy comfort now and dealing with the pain later, you make a conscious choice. You lean into a little bit of discomfort right now in order to buy yourself real, genuine freedom and success down the road.
And this quote from Jim Rohn just sums it all up perfectly, doesn't it? The usual thing to do is stay in your comfort zone, the one where you procrastinate. The risk is just embracing that temporary discomfort of doing the hard thing first. And the payoff? You get to break free from the ordinary and finally start building the life your future self is dreaming of.
So let's make this real. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. After everything we've just talked about, what is that one hard, important thing you've been putting off? What is something you can work on for just 5 minutes as soon as you're done here? That's it. That's your first step. That's how you start to fight back.